So, today the rumor mill has it that eeiu is supposedly out from Furia and they're bringing in Flank Master Com as the replacement. So it was actually Akamaru who leaked this roster move. So this is pretty much real, but what does it mean? And what are your first reactions to this? Are you excited or are you sad to see eeiu go? And the big thing to ask is, why did they drop eeiu this late in the season? Don't get me wrong, they have already made some drastic moves before even stage 2 started, but now it's kind of weird that eeiu is getting dropped in the middle of stage 2. And we don't know for sure why he got removed from the team, but we always have some theories here. So let's get down to it one by one. We all know that eeiu started hot during kickoff. Technically, they were the champions of that tournament, even though there were 3 trophies for that tournament. He really started great, but since then, the team was kind of in a funk. And like I said earlier, changes have been made, but maybe Furia felt like more changes are needed. And yes, it is Com that is supposedly replacing eeiu. I think I heard somewhere before that Com is a player that helps a lot building the playbook and the set strats of a team. So maybe Furia is looking for that kind of player, or it could be they're just trying things out. It's like they're throwing spaghetti into a wall to see if something sticks. Or it could be this secret one thing that I'm thinking of, where I will discuss in length later. And again, this late season move is really aggressive, especially after dropping a limb and nerve already. So what do you guys think? Did eeiu stop fitting in the system? Was the chemistry not just there anymore? Or did Furia just decide they needed to have a fresh start of some sorts, even though it's so late in the season? And it's also kind of hard to see because we have seen Furia struggle with its identity ever since the start of the partnership program. They tried with the Brazilian core, it did not work, and then visa issues come in to haunt their team, so they decided to build a roster that is NA heavy. It worked at the beginning of the season, but their momentum slowly died down. So maybe after years of not finding an identity, maybe they've just given up. Not really given up, but they just do whatever they want now and see if something works. I mean, you drop eeiu from the team in the middle of the season and then you bring in Com. Like the changes, the strats, and the tendencies and the chemistry, there's a lot of things to address. And also the thing is, there's not a lot of time left. How are they going to make a comeback or even make it to the playoffs for stage 2 with this short amount of time? I really don't know. But again, I have this theory about why they made all these changes late in the season, so you better stick around for that. So now let's look at the team. So we have Artsin, we have Koala Noob, we have Basic, Shy, and Com. Looking at it, Furia have already fought with Lev earlier in their first match. Adding Com, I think, would not change much to the comps because I think it's a 1-for-1 change where eeiu and Com play the same agent, so nothing changes much. But the thing is, I think Artsin is still the IGL, right? But he's also playing Duelist. I don't know how that's working, but I think it's really hard to do because imagine entering sites and then you're also busy calling for the team. If I remember, he's playing Phoenix and Race, while Koala Noob is playing more of the secondary duelist role. So I don't know how he's making it work, but maybe there's someone who's secondary calling when he's entering. But yeah, that's kind of complicated. And that's why, again, that's why maybe they actually need Com for it. You know, because Com has had his taste of the IGL position in EG. Oh, now that I think about it, maybe it's making a lot more sense now, right? I mean, I have an outline, but I really haven't thought of that while I was writing this outline. But now it's really making sense. Maybe they need someone like Com. Maybe they actually really do. But then again, we still need to think about it. Like the chemistry. Like, how do they know if his style would fit them? That's really something to think about and see in their future matches. So in my outline, I was about to ask who benefits the most from this. It was supposed to be a question pointed to you guys, but I think I know who benefits the most from this, and it's basically Artsin because Com can even be the IGL. But as to making it to champs or even the stage 2 playoffs, I'm really having a hard time to see them there, you know. Basically, in Group Alpha, you have Energy and Leviathan making it to the playoffs. And then on the other side, Omega, you have 100 Thieves in G2. The rest are going pretty much down to the play-ins. against the tier 2 teams, which I think would really be unpredictable because these tier 2 teams are really hungry to get something right now. It's their chance to go to champs, and it's safe to say that they're going to do their best. I think the first tier 2 team is M80. I'm not sure about the other teams, but what I know is that M80 is going to the play-ins because I made a video about them that is going out tomorrow. So if you're interested about the M80 versus Sentinels grudge match in the Americas play-ins, then you better stick around, subscribe, and watch out for that. So now let's talk about the thing that I mentioned earlier. So back then I would call this the real reason as to why this team did something, but now this is my big theory on why Furia decided to do a roster overhaul this late in the season, and it's because of the arms race happening in the VCT right now. And what I mean by this is the impending VCT 2027 partnerships. Because you see, a lot of teams are desperate to boost their stock when it comes to getting partnered in 2027. Because we already know that there will only be 8 teams going in as partners, and getting accepted as a partner helps a team a lot in the financial side of things. So when you have less problems on that, then the focus can be more about other things. And earlier in the season, we've seen Sentinels do something big. Now we see Cloud9 and then Envy with massive changes in their rosters. And this is not only happening in Americas because we see teams in other regions doing drastic moves, desperate moves, whatever, in hopes of like winning and showing Riot that they're serious when it comes to being a partner team. I mean, even Team Secret, they got a new coach and I think a new player as well, a new IGL. And now you have to ask, what's next for eeiu? Because we all know that he's a good player ever since his days in 100 Thieves. But in terms of landing on a tier 1 team right now, I'm not sure if he can still get on a tier 1 team right now. Let's look at the teams, right? So yeah, I don't really see eeiu landing on a tier 1 team anytime soon because every role is occupied right now. Maybe he can get to a tier 2 team, but who knows? Because I think there's not even because stage 3 just finished, so there are no more tier 2 games moving forward, so there is really nothing else he can do. But maybe China is an option, maybe EMEA is also an option. So as a Furia fan, what are your thoughts on this? Would you have preferred for eeiu to stay? And what do you think will happen to Furia the rest of the way? So that's it for now. As always, thanks for your time. I'll see you guys down in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed, hit that sub button so you don't miss out, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.